could probably tell from the intro of this video, I do not have the 911 anymore. But why is that, and why am I in a GT4? So for those who are new to this channel, I like Porsche. In fact, I like all cars, but Porsche's kind of had the sweet spot with me. This is my third one, and I'm back in a GT4. So my first one was a 981 GT4, 2016. I traded that in for a whole bunch of other cars that we don't need to get into. Didn't really suit me. I then got a 911, had that for a short stint, had the opportunity to build a 992, punted that, and now I'm in a 718 GT4. So let's kind of go back a step and explain what all happened. All right, well, if you follow me on Instagram, you probably know that I've had this for a minute, but I basically have a new GT4. This is Shark Blue, and arguably has all of the most perfect options, missing one. So let me go ahead and pull in. It's an interior shot. Of course, I went with the buckets. You know, bad back or not, I just love buckets. The previous owner spec'd this thing perfectly. Silver on the door pulls. Kind of a funny one is this actually has the illuminated door sills with the carbon fiber. Basically, this car has everything carbon fiber. However, one thing that this has that none of my other cars have had is the leather-wrapped steering column with the deviated stitching, which you can see here. I will add this on every single car that I spec from this point forward. It just adds a little bit of interest and class to the car. And then if I go ahead and slide in, it's a 6-speed manual, you can probably imagine. And it has the leather dash, also in the deviated stitching. The only thing that this owner did not spec that I would have put is it has steel brakes. I would have preferred PCCBs, or at the very least, black calipers. A couple more shots of the exterior. You can see the Shark Blue. So I intentionally parked it where I did to show you that dynamic range of the paint. So here we have it kind of in the shade. It's more of a darker blue. And then now if I come out into the sun, hopefully the camera doesn't overexpose, you'll see that it is kind of a deeper blue, kind of similar to Mexico blue, which is interesting because my first purchase or attempted purchase of a Porsche was actually going to be a Mexico blue 911. So in addition to the more standard things you would expect on a vehicle like this, it has the stock risers. Might reach out to Riven Co. and see about getting some extended risers so I can actually see out the back. And then one of the things that I love about the GT4 is that you actually have your basically rear trunk space here. And if I go ahead to the front of the vehicle, like every Porsche or proper Porsche, so you basically have a lot of storage. My kids actually do ride in this. So for the 718 GT4, they ended up allowing car seats. They actually have latch in the back. And it disables the airbag automatically when you put a car seat in, or anything that's not the weight of a human, or in this case an adult, not a human. My kids are human. So continuing with the trim pieces, they ended up blacking out the logo. That was another thing that they added. GT4 is always black, I do believe. And then of course the best thing about the GT4 beside the engine is of course the wing. So let's go ahead and hop in the car. Well, actually first let's close the car. I feel like this is an episode of Forza where all the pieces are open right now. Before I do that, actually, one more thing to round it out. They ended up doing the PLDS Plus active headlights. So thank you, previous owner. I love that mechanical sound. So here you go. Not really a cold start because I did drive it here, but. So you can see it immediately shuts off, but if I go ahead down here, I have my options. So I have auto blip, I have auto start stop, which this also disables cylinder deactivation. And then of course we have PSE. So I'm not sure how well it's gonna come through camera, but you can definitely hear the exhaust. I'll give it a couple quick test revs. There's a security guard walking around, so I'm not gonna be obnoxious. You know, so does it sound like a GT3? No. Does it sound better than 911? Oh my God, yes. Basically, for those who aren't aware, I did have a 911 at one point, and I do not anymore. And the reason is that because two reasons, really. One, it was too large for me. I just prefer the compartment size of this and just everything about it. It's a sportier car. And then the other thing was the fact that the sound is horrible, even in Sport Plus. All right, so there is the walkthrough of the car. let's get into why I'm in this and not the 911. All right, so why am I in a GT4 instead of a 911? Well, I bought the red GT4, loved it, traded it out, ended up getting some other stuff. Then I got the silver GTS, and I loved it on the way on the drive home from New York. But after that, I really didn't enjoy it too much. And there was two things that really kind of just irked me. One was the sound. Turbo sounds do not sound great when they're completely restricted. I have since learned that I could have put a separate exhaust on it and it may have actually loudened it up. Although I honestly feel like that would have made it more tinny, so I don't know if I would have done that. The other thing is that it was larger and it felt like a bigger vehicle. The 911's gotten considerably bigger over the years. If you've seen, say even 10 years ago, it's just gotten wider and bigger. And it didn't feel like a trackable car. I know 100% it is, don't kill me in the comments. The way I drove it and the way that I enjoyed it, it just didn't work for me. So there's two things on the build that I've ended up purchasing from the previous owner, of course. One was it didn't have rear wheel steering. I'm told that really tightens up the turning radius and just makes it a more alive car. And then the other one was PDCC, so it didn't have the Porsche dynamic chassis control. And that was another thing that I guess would have really livened it up. For me, it didn't work out. The reason that I bought that 911 was for the opportunity to build a 992.1, or in this case, just a 992. Really didn't come to fruition from my own doing. I overspec'd it, and I just kind of had to come to Jesus and was like, you know what, this is gonna be too expensive. Overall, I liked the car. My daughter absolutely loved it.
Hi, Daddy.
It's just, for me, it didn't work out great. So I sold it in the fall and really stopped making videos aside from the Vision Pro, which was kind of stupid, but anyways. So now fast forward to more present day, and I'm like, okay, we're back into the summer, or rather soon the summer. It's New England, and I really want to drive again. I enjoy driving with my friends, so what do I get? Looked at a bunch of different options, looked at an M4, looked at some Audi variants, looked at an R8. Won't fit in my garage, believe it or not, so that's a stupid reason. And it just, for me, I love Porsche. I love the fit and finish. I love the sound, mostly. And overall, I love these vehicles. So I was looking at a GT3, I was looking at a 2016 GT3, and I was also looking at a 2018 GT3. The 2018 was about $15,000 over MSRP. We're about 5 years later, and that just didn't sit well with me, so I decided not to go that route. And then the 2016, it has some engine issues, or potentially could have some engine issues. I didn't want to go down that road, couldn't certify it, so I was like, okay, forget it, not going there. Once again, my contact at Porsche South Shore contacted and basically said, hey, we have a Shark Blue GT4 coming in, here's the spec, is it something you'd be interested in? I immediately expressed interest, and fast forward some time, and ended up coming in. Believe it or not, this car, specifically this car, has a very hilarious quirk, and that is that it's tracking me. I'm gonna make a deeper video on this because I think it's a concern, but also just to speak to what it is. But yeah, this vehicle currently is tracking me, and it's kind of hilarious. So I essentially ended up taking my 992 allocation and pushing it off to a .2 release. Honestly, I don't think that I'm gonna build a 911 at all. I already have only had this car about a month, and I absolutely love it. I love everything about it. I love the way that they did the interior. I love, of course, the seats. Some people hate them. I love them. And I think just overall, this is the vehicle for me. Now, I am trying to work towards a GT3, 992.2. I don't know if that's going to come to fruition. I would like to stay married and also would like to retire someday. So, not sure if that's going to happen, but I'm hopeful. In the meantime, I'm gonna enjoy the hell out of this. I'll make videos on it when possible, driving, track, ownership, day in the life, that sort of stuff I always make. And then ultimately, I'm just gonna enjoy the hell out of it. So this car actually came with 900 miles. It has 1,600 miles as of this video, and I've owned it about a month. So I plan to drive the hell out of it. So yeah, if Porsche content interests you, then this is the channel for you. I tend to create videos on different cars that I own. My son also just got a 2018 Audi A4, so I'm gonna be making a video on that. Because honestly, I actually really like that car. There might be something German related here, that I just enjoy German vehicles. As always, I appreciate you guys checking out these videos. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.